Revised Penal Code of the Philippines, Definition and Elements of Crimes. Part 1, Title 1 to Title 3. Title 1, Crimes Against National Security and the Law of Nations. Title 2, Crimes Against the Fundamental Laws of the State. Title 3, Crimes Against Public Order. Title 1, Crimes Against National Security and the Law of Nations. Article 114, Treason. Definition: levying war against the government or adhering to its enemies, giving them aid or comfort. Elements: first, there must be an actual levying of war against the government or adhering to its enemies. Second, the offender must have the intention to betray the government. And third, the offender must perform overt acts to fulfill the intention. Article 115, Conspiracy and Proposal to Commit Treason. Definition: conspiracy to commit treason or proposing its execution. Elements: first, there must be a conspiracy to commit treason. Second, there must be an agreement to commit treason among the conspirators. Third, proposal to commit treason involves the act of suggesting or inciting another person to commit treason. Article 116, Misprision of Treason. Definition: concealing or not disclosing knowledge of the commission of treason. Elements: knowledge of the commission of treason, and second, failing to disclose such knowledge to the authorities. Article 117, Espionage. Definition: gathering or transmitting information to an enemy. Elements: first, gathering or transmitting information. Second, to the detriment of the Philippines. And third, with the intent to deliver them to a foreign government. Article 118, Inciting to war or giving motives for reprisals. Definition: inciting others to commence war or giving motives for reprisals. Elements: first, inciting others to start a war against the Philippines, and second, giving motives for reprisals against the government or its representatives. Article 119, Violation of Neutrality. Definition: violating neutrality laws and regulations during a war. Elements: first, violating neutrality laws or regulations, and second, during a war in which the Philippines is neutral. Article 120, Correspondence with hostile country. Definition: communicating with a hostile country. Elements: first, there is correspondence or communication. Second, with a representative of a hostile country. And third, without authority from the government. Article 121, Flight to enemy's country. Definition: going to an enemy's country and giving aid and comfort. Elements: first, going to the enemy's country, and second, giving aid and comfort to the enemy. Article 122, Piracy in general and mutiny on the high seas. Definition: acts of piracy and mutiny on the high seas. Elements for piracy: first, attack on or seizure of a vessel. Second, on the high seas or outside Philippine jurisdiction. And third, for private ends. Elements of mutiny: first, mutiny or rebellion, and second, on a Philippine vessel or aircraft. Article 123, Qualified Piracy. Definition: acts of piracy with aggravating circumstances. Elements: first, acts of piracy as defined under Article 122, and second, aggravating circumstances such as committing rape, murder, or serious physical injuries. Title 2. Crimes against the fundamental law of the state. Article 124, Arbitrary detention. Definition: detaining a person without legal grounds. Elements: first, there is actual restraint of liberty. Second, the restraint is unlawful. And third, the act is committed without legal authority. Article 125, delay in the delivery of detained persons to the proper judicial authorities. Definition: failure to deliver a detained person to judicial authorities within the prescribed period. Elements: first, a person is arrested or detained. Second, the arrest or detention is lawful. And third, there is failure to deliver the person to judicial authorities within, first, 12 hours for crimes or offenses punishable by light penalties or their equivalent. Second, 18 hours for crimes or offenses punishable by correctional penalties or their equivalent. And third, 36 hours for crimes, offenses, or felonies punishable by afflictive or capital penalties or their equivalent. Article 126, delaying release. Definition: delaying the release of a detained person for the purpose of extorting money or any other consideration. Elements: first, the accused is a public officer or employee. Second, the accused has custody or control of a detained person. Third, the accused delays the release of the detained person. And fourth, the purpose is to extort money or any other consideration. Article 127, expulsion. Definition: expelling a person from the Philippines or preventing the person from entering it. Elements: first, the offender is a public officer or employee. Second, the offender commits the act without legal cause. And third, the act results in the expulsion of a person from the Philippines or the prevention of entry into the country. Article 128, violation of domicile. Definition: entering the dwelling of another against the latter's will. Elements: first, the offender enters the dwelling of another. Second, the entry is against the will of the owner or lawful occupant. And third, the entry is committed without any legal ground. Article 129, search warrants maliciously obtained and abused in the service of those legally obtained. Definition: obtaining search warrants without probable cause or abusing authority in the execution of a valid search warrants. Elements: first, the offender maliciously obtains a search warrant. And second, the offender abuses authority in the execution of a legally obtained search warrant. Article 130, searches without warrant and consent. Definition: conducting searches without a warrant and without the consent of the person concerned, except in cases allowed by law. Elements: first, the offender is a public officer or employee. Second, the offender conducts a search without a warrant and without the consent of the person concerned. And third, the search is not allowed by law. Article 131, prohibition, interruption, and dissolution of peaceful meetings. Definition: prohibiting, interrupting, or dissolving peaceful meetings. Elements: first, the offender is a public officer or employee. And second, the offender prohibits, interrupts, or dissolves a peaceful meeting or assembly. Article 133, offending religious feelings. Definition: offending the religious feelings of any person or desecrating the objects of worship in any place. Elements: the offender performs acts notoriously offensive to the feelings of the faithful, and second, the acts are performed in a place devoted to religious worship or during the celebration of any religious ceremony. Title 3, Crimes Against Public Order. Article 134, Rebellion or Insurrection. Definition: rising publicly and taking up arms against the government. Elements: first, there is a public uprising and taking arms against the government. Second, the purpose of the uprising is to remove from the allegiance to said government or its laws. And third, the offenders participate in the rebellion or insurrection. Article 135, Conspiracy and Proposal to Commit Coup d'etat, Rebellion, or Insurrection. Definition: conspiring or proposing to commit coup d'etat, rebellion, or insurrection. Elements: first, the offenders conspire or propose to commit coup d'etat, rebellion, or insurrection. Second, there is an agreement to rise publicly and take arms against the government. And third, there is a concrete step to commit the conspiracy or proposal. Article 136, Coup d'etat. Definition: sudden or illegal seizure of government authority. Elements: the offenders commit an overt act of taking arms against the government. Second, the purpose of the act is to seize or diminish governmental authority. And third, the act is done without legal authority. Article 137, Disloyalty of Public Officers or Employees. Definition: failing to resist rebellion or sedition. Elements: first, the offender is a public officer or employee. Second, he knows the existence of a rebellion or insurrection. And third, he fails to inform the authorities or takes other measures to suppress it. Article 138, Inciting to Rebellion or Insurrection. Definition: urging others to commit rebellion or insurrection. Elements: the offender incites others to commit rebellion or insurrection. And second, the incitement is done by means of speeches, proclamations, writings, emblems, or other representations tending to the same end. Article 139, Sedition. Definition: stirring up disturbances against lawful authority. Elements: the offenders rise publicly and tumultuously. Second, the purpose is to attain by force, intimidation, or other means outside of legal methods. And third, the disturbance is to prevent the execution of any legislative or executive act. Article 140, Insurrection. Definition: attempt to overthrow the government. Elements: first, the offenders rise publicly and take arms against the government. Second, the purpose is to remove allegiance to said government or its laws. And third, the act is done by means of rebellion. Article 141, Conspiracy to commit sedition. Definition: conspiring to commit sedition. Elements: first, the offender conspired to commit sedition. Second, there is an agreement to rise publicly and tumultuously. And third, the purpose is to prevent the execution of any legislative or executive act. Article 142, Inciting to Sedition. Definition: urging others to commit sedition. Elements: first, the offender incite others to commit sedition. Second, the incitement is done by means of speeches, proclamations, writings, emblems, or other representations tending to the same end. Article 143, acts tending to prevent the meeting of Congress or similar bodies. Definition, preventing Congress or similar bodies from meeting. Elements, first, the offender perform acts. Second, the acts prevent the Congress or any provincial board or city or municipal council from assembling. Article 144, disturbance of proceedings. Definition, disturbing the proceedings of legislative or any other official body. Elements, first, the offender disturbs the proceedings of any legislative body or provincial board. Second, the disturbance is committed during its session. Article 145, violation of parliamentary immunity. Definition, offending the honor of members of Congress or similar bodies. Elements, first, the offender insults a member of Congress or any provincial board or city or municipal council. And second, the insult is done during its session. Article 146, illegal assemblies. Definition, participating in an illegal assembly. Elements, first, the offender participate in an assembly. Second, the assembly is tumultuous in character. And third, the purpose is to attain by force, intimidation, or other means outside of legal method. Article 147, direct assault. Definition, attacking a person in authority or their agents. Elements, first, the offender makes an attack. Second, the attack is physical and hostile. And third, the victim is a person in authority or their agents. Article 148, resistance and disobedience to a person in authority or the agents of persons in authority. Definition, resisting or disobeying a person in authority or their agents. Elements, first, the offender resists or seriously disobeys a person in authority or their agents. Second, the act is committed during the performance of official duties. And third, the act is not constituting direct assault. Article 149, unlawful use of means of publication and unlawful utterances. Definition, publishing false news to cause alarm or disloyalty. Elements, first, the offender publishes or causes to be published. Second, the publication is of false news or false information. And finally, the purpose is to cause alarm or discredit public authorities. Article 150, alarms and scandals. Definition, causing disturbance by causing alarm or scandal. Elements, first, the offender performs acts. Second, the acts cause disturbance to the public peace. And third, the disturbance is caused by tumultuous or scandalous conduct. Article 151, resistance to agents of the authority. Definition, resisting against agents of a person in authority. Elements, first, the offender resists or obstructs. Second, the resistance is directed against an agent of a person in authority. And third, the act is committed during the performance of official duties. Article 152, persons in authority and agents of persons in authority who shall be deemed as such. Definition, defining who are considered persons in authority or their agents. Elements, enumerate specific persons who qualify as persons in authority or their agents under the law. Article 153, tumults and other disturbances of public order. Definition: engaging in tumultuous conduct causing disturbance. Elements: first, the offenders engage in tumultuous conduct. Second, the conduct causes serious disturbances to public order. And third, the disturbance is caused by a tumultuous conduct. Article 154, unlawful use of means of publication and unlawful utterances. Definition: using seditious or rebellious language. Elements: first, the offender uses seditious words or language. Second, the use is either spoken or published. And third, the purpose is to incite rebellion or sedition. Article 155, alarms and scandals. Definition: causing disturbance by causing alarm or scandal. Elements: first, the offender commits acts. Second, the acts cause disturbance to the public peace. And third, the disturbance is caused by tumultuous or scandalous act. Article 156, delivering prisoners from jail. Definition: rescuing a prisoner from lawful custody. Elements: first, the offender takes a prisoner from lawful custody. And second, the taking is against the will of the authorities. Article 157, evasion of service of sentence. Definition: evading the service of a sentence. Elements: first, the offender is serving sentence by final judgment. And second, the offender evades the service by escaping during the term of sentence. Article 158, evasion of service of sentence on the occasion of disorder, conflagrations, earthquakes, or other calamities. Definition: taking advantage of calamities to evade sentences. Elements: first, the offender is serving sentence by final judgment. Second, the offender takes advantage of the disorder, conflagration, earthquake, or other calamities. And third, the purpose is to escape during the occasion of such events. Article 159, other cases of evasion of service of sentence. Definition: other methods of evading service of sentence. Elements: first, the offender is serving sentence by final judgment. And second, the offender evades the service by means not falling under Articles 157 or 158. Article 160, commission of another crime during service of penalty imposed for another previous offense. Definition: committing another crime while serving sentence for a previous offense. Elements: first, the offender is serving sentence by final judgment for an offense. Second, the offender commits a new crime during the service of the previous sentence. And third, the new crime is different from the one for which the offender is serving sentence. That's it. If you find this video useful and substantial, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you very much for listening.